Hello, everybody. Joe Malone here, coming to you live on Dallas Trading Floor. And I guess, look at my chart here. Yeah, it is Wednesday. The it is Wednesday. Wait a minute. No, it is Thursday. I'm sorry. August 5th. And so we here we are. We're I think I may have the wrong. Well, I don't know. I may have the wrong information on there. So let me go. Let me change this. Yeah, it's August 5th, and it's 2:40. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So yeah, it's Thursday, and the market it's kind of low volume, kind of going sideways. Can't totally get a handle on everything, but just kind of want to go through the slides with you here. Um, so basically, we are basically in a, um, we're still basically in a market uptrend, which is a very good thing because the Nasdaq is seeming to come back to life. S&P 500 and the other not as quite as much, but still pretty good. We are up a little bit here. We're inching towards that 15,000 mark, which is amazing because that would be an all-time high. And the S&P 500 is up just a tad, and the Dow Jones is up a little bit. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Here's what David Sato Chung basically had to say yesterday, and basically the fresh economic data is showing a recovery, at least in the U.S., but that recovery may be souring. So, just persistent growing worries about how much contagious threats of COVID-19 will affect consumer spending. So, there's definitely some clouds on the horizon related to COVID-19 and consumer spending. So, that's something we kind of got to watch out for in how we enter and exit some of our positions. I wanted to show you this one. I have a spread on this one. It's right now very in a very good position. It's Snap, of course. You probably heard of it. Just right below the buy point at 71.87. So that's the entry point at 75.69. So the best place, of course, to set a stop loss on this one, if you did get into it, would be 71.87. I just kind of want to show you this is the consolidation pattern. Good pattern. Composite rating's very good, 95 out of 99. So definitely something you might want to look at. Relative strength is 97. This is a really strong stock. So I do have a spread on it, doing very well. Doing very well on that on the spread. Just kind of want to show you sort of what I am currently in right now. I was stopped out of AMD this morning. I did get stopped out of AMD. Made some good profit. The stop loss was at about 116. I believe. I think it's about 112 right now. That's where AMD is trading. But I just want to kind of show you what I have been in. And of course, NVIDIA, that's one of my all-time favorites. Of course, it's moved very decisively above about 305. Now, 200 above about 200. So 205 is a good point for this. Hopefully, it will be moving strongly into earnings. I don't know if I'm going to sell them into earnings. It depends on whether or not I'm up 10% or not. But I think we're going to come into earnings very strongly for NVIDIA. We have kind of reversed. Hopefully, we're moving higher. Kind of weak volume on that. We have the volume is down, but the price is up. So, who knows what's saying there. DocuSign doing well as well again today, above that 304 here. Very nice. I'm in Bath and Body Works, believe it or not. That is up today. Not a lot, but remember, this was L Brands, and basically there was a spinoff of Victoria's Secret, which I also have, and then it was L Brands. It now is trading under BBWI, Bath and Body Works, and then of course the spinoff was the Victoria's Secret. That's up as well. That seems to be doing quite well. I may move in more shares here just because looking pretty good with this spinoff. Of course, we're up on Nike again. Nike has just hung in there and been a great stock. at least for a little over 40 days now, doing very, very well. Robert Half is up today. This is, of course, the temporary staffing company. Very, very good company in terms of that. And its price is up about 1.26%. So pretty good on that as well. PerkinElmer, it's pulling back a little bit, but still very strong. Like this stock a lot. We're up on ST Micro. This is one that I have basically last week. I went into ST Micro with a relatively small position. Tesla we're up on. Now, there's an interesting thing about Tesla. We're sort of right in this trading range on Tesla between, about 710 and about 720. I think it's really going to have to move above about 720 before I'm going to get too much more interested in this. I may trim my position in this just because I want to see better price performance out of Tesla. So I'm really looking to see it move above about 720 on that. Of course, we talked about Snap today. It's currently at 717, right at a buy point. You could definitely, the buy point is about 75 on this one. Definitely can move into this one. I do think this is looking very, very good. Snap, SNAP. I do have a spread on this. I have a bull put spread on this one that is doing quite well. Victoria's Secret, of course, this was the spinoff from L Brands, and that's looking pretty good too, as well. CrowdStrike, of course, I'm in that. It's up about 66 cents today. Not too bad. About 0.25. It's a relatively expensive stock, but good leader definitely in the software enterprise space, especially in the security area. So that's kind of a good thing too. I'm also in Viva Systems. Viva Systems, interesting company. I did buy this at the buy point. It's up just a little bit today, just 2 cents, not a whole lot, kind of holding its own at 341. But this is a very interesting system now that we're doing a lot of drug development. This is a software as a service company, and they basically are used. Their service is used for getting therapies through all the FDA approvals. So about 85% of the world's drug companies use their software. So it's a very significant. It's a very significant company in a very significant industry and doing quite well. And I've traded it before and done fairly well on it. So I definitely kind of like that. I kind of like that look. So here's a look at the list again. Basically, NVIDIA, DocuSign, BBWI, Nike, Robert Half, PerkinElmer, ST Micro, Tesla, Snap, VSCO, that's Victoria's Secret, CrowdStrike, and Viva Systems. So that's currently what I'm holding in my portfolio right now. So that kind of gives you an idea of kind of where I'm at in terms of that. All right, so let's see if we have anything really else before we get to the questions. Oh, by the way, I wanted to tell you I have a great spread trade. This is a call spread. This is a calendar spread, calendar call spread on Netflix, which will kind of benefit if Netflix kind of goes sideways or a little bit down. I kind of wanted to show you that so that you can get in on that one. Easy to get in on. Of course, it's at www.DallasTradingFloor.com. Let's see if I can bring that up. There we go. All right, so there. Oh, all right. So let's get it. Right up there. There we go. All right. So this is kind of what it looks like in terms of of what it is. Just show you now. You can get to this very easily by going to. Let's put up the banner there. There it is. By going to www.DallasTradingFloor. This is kind of what the page looks like, and what I'm talking about, the spread trade I'm talking about. To take a look at it, just go right down to here where it says Netflix, and it's a calendar spread on Netflix, and then just check it out just by going to the home page, clicking on that link, and then you'll get to all the information on that trade. It's kind of a cool trade. Also, I always point this one out. We also have, for everyone out there that is a serious trader, I highly recommend the official Dallas Trading Floor mug. And hopefully everything is working I had a little bit of problems with this, but this is now I'm using the PayPal interface, so you just push that by there, and it's $6.95. Now there is a shipping. There is shipping on it. It's $5.60. Can you believe it? The mug $6.95. Shipping is $5.60. So just be warned of that. Also, I just want to also point this out. This is how I got started in trading, and this is with Can Slim Trading. So kind of some of the stuff I put on, I put out there is a little bit, kind of strange sometimes. But you can check this out. Basically, this is, I think, the greatest trading system that's ever been invented. Many of the top traders in the world, like David Ryan and Mark McAvaney, use the system. Many other traders, very successful traders, many of them would have won the World Championship of Trading, use the system. But if you just go to my site, go right down here, click on that, and you'll see this is the book by William O'Neill, and this is the system that I use. It's How to Make Money in Stocks, a Winning System, Good Times or Bad. So I just kind of wanted to put that out there for everyone so that they could see that, and kind of get a look see. So if you're interested in any of these things, just go to www.Dallas Trading Floor. Now, if you're looking on TikTok, I'm showing all of these charts and everything. Unfortunately, I can't broadcast them on TikTok, but I am broadcasting them live on YouTube. And the easiest way to get there for that is to go to the link on my bio. Click the link, scroll down, and you'll get to a where you can where you can just watch the show as it's going right now, or after the show is ended, it'll be up and you can be able to take a look at it as well. So that it's good because that way you can ask questions and everything like that. Everything feeds in, and that's kind of how that works technically. So let's get to some of the questions. This is from Hans. Thank you very much. Your thoughts on Roku and DFS? Let's kind of look at Roku. Let's see if I can pull Roku up here. Right. Now, there we go. Let's take a look at Roku. And basically, this is kind of what's happened with Roku is that we had this pullback on Roku. We had this pullback, and now it's at 402. So really, what's happened is it seems to be holding the 50-day line right here. So right now, I would not want to be in the stock right now. Hopefully you had stop losses in on this one, so that the stop losses were triggered. I want to see this thing bounce. It's in a handle formation. This is the cup here, and then there's the handle formation. The actual buy point on this one is 462.99, and unfortunately that's way up here. So not a good place to buy it. Wait for a reversal on this one and possibly then come into it. But I think that you have to be careful. I want to see this trade at least up to about 405, 410 before I'm interested in buying it right now, because it has been weak. And I did so I'm going to click on over to the weekly chart. I was actually stopped out on July 15th here at 408. I got stopped out here, so I have not been in it since it pulled back. So right now I want to see it stronger. I want to see it move above about that 406, 405, 405, 406 area before I'm interested in coming back into it, just because it's been fairly weak. And so, that's something that I think you got to get a little careful on. On that. I think you really do. Now, Hans also is asking about Discover. Interesting company. Of course, I think they're the fourth largest issuer of credit cards. I'm not sure. I think it's Visa. I think it's MasterCard, Visa, then American Express, and I think Discover is fourth, but I'm not sure exactly on that. We came through earnings. I think earnings were pretty darn good. Let's take a look. Yeah, we just got through earnings. Earnings were up significantly, so let's kind of check to see sort of how that works. Yeah, the sales were up 23%, which is very, very good. But what's really amazing is that this profit number. They're showing a profit increase of 563. So that is unbelievable. That's very, very good. I don't know exactly what is accounting for that, but currently, and this is something that I want to put out there. Currently, unfortunately, this stock is extended. And what do I mean by extended? Well, what do I mean by extended is that the actual buy point is right here, and that's at 104.49. Oops, there we go. Okay, that's the actual buy point, is at 104.49. But unfortunately really this is the buy range that we want to be in, basically from the buy point up about 5%, and that's going to give us the buy zone. Unfortunately, we're way above that. So here's the thing. I don't think you can buy it at this level. It's looking very, very good. The stock's looking very good, very strong. Now, you could definitely add to a position at this level, but I don't think you can buy a new position. It's just too far extended. Let's kind of look at the checklist. Very, very good checklist. The only thing it's failing on, of course, is I'm surprised that it's failing on this. I have to look at the earnings per share, but everything else is looking very, very good on this stock apparently. So definitely good. It's about midway in the pack in terms of the sector that it's in. Of course, there's 197 sectors. This is sector number 92, which is the finance and credit card payments company. Let's kind of see what is the top performing issue in this area. So hopefully I can bring that up here. It'll let me do that. Let's see if it will let me do. Come on. Yeah, it's not letting me do that. So let's go to the actual sector. I want to see who the leader in the credit card area is, and I'm a little bit of a. Let's see if we get the industry groups there. There we go. Okay. So this is industry group number 92. So let's pull on down there. Let's see if we can get to 92. All right. Come on there. Almost there. 92. All right. There we go. Credit card. So let's look at this as a whole. This group as a whole. Not a bad chart, overall chart. It definitely is in an ascent as a group. So that's looking pretty good. So definitely it's an improving area of the market. Let's kind of see who the leaders are in this particular group. Now, interestingly enough, the number one leader in this, Square is a little bit ahead of Discover. So that's very interesting in terms of its high. And then there's a company that I don't know. But right now, the number one symbol in that group is Square. So I think that if you're looking at Discover, you might want to look at Square. And the reason that you might want to look at Square is because Square right now is at a buy zone. And I think I put that out there that said Square was right at a buy point. I'm probably going to be buying some Square because I do like this stock a lot. I mean, perfect. I think I did actually. Let me just check my notes here. I think I did buy Square. Got it. Oh yeah, I did, absolutely. I bought Square, and I should note to the start. Let's do that really quickly. I actually bought Square today, and this is the number one stock in that particular area. And where I bought it is right about here. I bought it a little high. I bought it right here, and that my buy, and I'm looking at my back of my notes here, it was, let's put it right there. Yeah. I bought at let's see, 285.63. So that's basically where I bought it. I bought it a little bit high. It's pulled back on that, but this is right now the number one in that group. So let's look at the 5-minute chart for Square just for fun. Yeah, you see, I bought right about here, right about at this level. So I bought it a little bit, as I thought it was going to move above there, but it's recovered once again. There's a lot of buying pressure on it, so it looks as if Square, if you're interested in this group, if you're looking at Discover, I would consider buying Square instead, because I do think that it has, a better chart right now. That's my main thing. And I did buy it this morning. I bought a relatively small position, just a half position in in the small portfolio. So not a huge position, but definitely a good potential, um, a good potential stock to buy today. Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Fadi. Let's look at Tesla. And of course, as I indicated in the kind of the monologue, or what passes for it, uh, Tesla is sort of in this range between about 710 and 710 is about 720, and it's kind of in a tight area, as you can see. It's kind of tight in there. What this means typically is when there's a tight area, is we are working out the resistance. Now what's starting to happen is this may be going to pull back here. And the reason I'm saying that is because, as you can see, for the last 3 days, we've had buying activity, but it's been tapering off. So, and it's in a tight pattern. So, we may get to a situation where they're not going to take the bid, but take the bid. So we better be careful in terms of putting a stop loss in here. It does look like it has moved after hours up a little bit, but as it moves above about 720, then I think we can see it. It'll probably move higher. But right now, it's sort of consolidating and kind of staying in that very kind of tight range. So here's what I would say. I think that you can buy it, but I would probably want to buy it on some kind of breakout over about 720. That's kind of where I'd want to buy it. If it moves above 720, then I'd probably be a buyer. You could get in here. I did buy. I have 2 positions in it, but I think I was a little early on that. But I do think it's showing strength. So really, probably the best time would be to hold back, maybe do a buy stop limit order on it with a stop price of 720 and a buy price and a limit price of 720 of 10. So that would be probably ideal. The checklist is definitely firming up for Tesla. A 78 checklist. It's a little bit off of its all-time high, so that's looking good. And the earnings per share rate, I'd like to see that a little bit stronger, but it seems like it's setting up finally to make that reversal. It's definitely above the reversal line. So I definitely think you could add a position here. I'd be careful about going all in at this point, just because it hasn't really pulled above that 720 mark, and I do think that's a very key level. Matter of fact, I'm gonna set an alert there, just because I do think that is going to be a major level, and maybe try to indicate that to a lot of people. But I think if it moves above that 720 level, then I think you could move into it a little bit more heavily than right now. But right now, if you could start doing some buys, but I'd be really careful with that. All right. Why 8 positions in the portfolio, but 2 portfolios? Good question. Well, the reason I have multiple portfolios is that some of my portfolios are tax-free and some of them are taxable. And some of them I trade options in. And so I have different portfolios for kind of each thing. I have a number of IRAs that I trade. And so those are tax-free. Now, I can't trade options in those. The only thing I could do in those portfolios is, I can't really do option trading like spreads or anything like that. I can sell covered calls, but that's about it. So I keep those separate. The small portfolio is actually an IRA that I have, and it's a relatively small one, so that you can kind of see how I'm moving in and out. But that's the reason I have multiple portfolios, is just because I'm trading from different different things. So very good question. Thank you very, very much for that. And the reason why 8 positions, well, it's actually been shown that if your value of your portfolio is under $100,000, you really only should own about 6 stocks. I know that sounds very strange. I think, wow, gosh, Jim, you own more than 6 stocks. Well, yeah, but I typically try to keep my number of stocks in each portfolio to 8 or less. And the reason why is because if you trade more than about 8 stocks at a time, it can be very difficult to get to get everything correct. So this is what William O'Neill said, and I think it's very, very wise. He basically, if you if your portfolio size is less than $50,000, you actually only want to be trading about 4 stocks. Can you believe that? And if it's less than about $10,000, you want to consider trading maybe only 3 stocks. The reason is because that's going to force you to move to the very, very best winners and to cut your losers very quickly. Now, in the small portfolio, I show 8 positions, but there are many times when I will trade fewer stocks than that. So currently, let's pull up the small portfolio so you can see that what I'm talking about here. And oh goodness, let's see if I can get that up. All right. Oops. Let's see if I can. Yeah, there we go. Okay. All right. Yeah, and this is the small portfolio that I that I trade typically, and there we go. So that kind of gives you an idea of sort of what I'm talking about here. I currently in the small portfolio. It's kind of a little bit bigger there. Currently, this is how I've allocated it. All right, and you can see how I'm trading. So far this month in the small portfolio, I've made $214.62. This is my allocation right now. I'm mostly, I have a fairly large position, 14% of my portfolio is in Nike, and that's done very, very well. Had it for 42 days, up 13% on it. I did sell AMD yesterday. Why? Because it pulled back. As you can see there, AMD was sold. And for a 12% gain, that's pretty good in 8 days. So that's how the position trading works. We ride them up, and then if they pull back, we're selling them out, hopefully at a profit. And then I'm looking for another opportunity to get back into AMD. So I also have ST Micro. That's only up 1% in 8 days. So who knows what I'm going to do with this? I may cut this one. Currently, pretty much everything is basically flat. I mean, I do have Applied Materials that's down 1%, but basically everything's flat. And as you can see, most of these I've only had a very short period of time, a very, very short period of time as well. So what I'll be doing is I'll be cutting these after about a week. I'll be looking to see which are the better performance, and then I'll move the capital up the chain to get into the best ones. But currently, for the last 42 days, my best performer is Nike. So that kind of gives you an idea. And if you look at the allocation, this kind of looks like a pizza, and there's 8 positions in there. So that's how I do position trading. And it's basically the reason that I do it that way, of course, is to extract safely the largest amount of profit. So that's kind of always what I'm looking at. So, all right. Your thoughts on W or GM, which is a good buy? Well, let's take a look to see kind of which one is the is the better is the better buy out there, W or GM. So let's look at W first. Of course, this is Wayfair, and this is kind of a good stock. I'm going to kind of change the aspect ratio here a little bit of the chart. There we go. Make it look kind of move it down a little bit so it's easier to see. There we go. We've resized it. All right. Nice move. But remember, this is trading below the 200-day line. So we don't want to buy anything below the 200-day line. Now, can you buy this? Well, I wouldn't be a buyer of Wayfair right now because I'm going to draw a reversal line here. Yeah, see, this is the reversal line. I don't want to buy Wayfair because it's still in a downward trend, even though it's pulled up to the 200-day line. So I'm only interested in buying Wayfair if it comes above this line. So currently, that line is at, let's get an actual number for you, is at 320 at 325. So basically, even though Wayfair moved up tremendously today, it kind of bottomed out. This is a capitulation. What do I mean by that? Well, it goes down and eventually the stock capitulates and it starts to move up. But really, it's still not really moving as it's still not really reversed until it moves above this line. And this line is at about 320, and I'm just kind of extending it out there because you can see it. So the slope of this line is very, very important because this is going to show if there's a reversal higher. And currently, even though it is moving up, it is still in a downward trend overall. So I would not be a buyer of Wayfair right now. I just wouldn't be a buyer of Wayfair until it reverses. So I want to see Wayfair trade above 325 before I'm probably going to be interested in. So let's look at GM. And of course, in terms of the automobile stocks, Tesla is the one that dominates this group. And I think we're going to take a look at the group here in just a second. But here is the chart for General Motors. General Motors went all the way down, and it bounced off of the 200-day moving average, and that's this black line here. Well, why is that important? Well, it may have bottomed, but it is still, unfortunately, in a downward trend. I'm going to go over to the weekly chart. I'm going to draw a trend line. Again, as you can see, this is the trend line to see if it's still in a downward trend. Now, unfortunately, it is. Until it moves above that line, I don't want to buy it. And the reason I don't want to buy it is I never want to buy anything that's low and going lower. I always want to buy things that are going higher. I always want to buy. It's kind of strange. You want to buy only when something is moving higher. You want to buy high and then sell higher. So right now, General Motors is in a downward trend. So with both Wayfair, which is well under the reversal and in a downward trend, and General Motors, I'd buy neither of them because unfortunately both of them are in a downward trend, and I like to buy in an upward trend. So that's kind of my my view on it. I think we did Roku. So let's look at Wish. Wish, I wish. Wish is a meme stock, and nothing wrong with meme stocks. But it's just you don't want to buy this. You don't want to buy the Samuel. It's just now. I think probably the reason you're asking is that you bought it and it's going lower and you don't know what to do. Here's the thing: sell your stock right now. Sell Wish because I'm sure that you have it and you have a loss that's more than 7%. Now, I'm not trying to single you out, believe me, but you don't want to let a stock continue to lose money because it can lose 50% or more of the value. So if you're down more than 7% on this one, please sell it. This is not a good stock. It has a relative strength of 2, and it has a downward trend. At least right now, it's not a good time to own this thing. As you can see, this is the weekly chart. It has been solidly down since about December of this last year. So January, it was going up, boom, boom, boom. It was great. But since then, it's just been nothing but trouble. I would get rid of it. I really would, because you're probably down more than 7%. So the 7% rule really is this. You want to dump a stock if it's moved down more than 10%, more than 7%. Wait for a better time to get in it and then move into it. So that's the main thing. You want to be very careful. Your thoughts on Apple? A lot of interest at the 150 price. Good question. Let's look at Apple again. I sold out of Apple as it pulled back. I was pushing my stop losses up, and I was able to harvest some profit on it. And that's really kind of the way I view the stock market. I kind of view it like this orchard of profit that you can harvest profit. So I'm always looking to harvest profit. These are my buy points. This is where I sold. I sold at 148 and 148.60. So I sold 2 there, as you can see. Currently it's at 146. So we're a little bit below where I sold. Now I want to see it move above that, and I kind of want to see it move into potentially higher up in the buy zone. So let's see. We're still in the buy zone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the size here of it. Hopefully this will resize here in just a second. Okay, there we go. It resized, and it'll give us a kind of a good idea. And I'm going to kind of zoom in on that particular. See if I can zoom in this chart a little bit. I think this is how you zoom it in. There we go. Okay. Let's give us a little bit better look. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we can actually see it on the screen. And I'm going to pull it over there. All right. So basically, we have this sort of we have this sort of we have a buy point right here, and the buy point is right at 145.09. So we're solidly in the buy zone, but it's kind of moving around in it. You possibly could buy the stock at this level. You definitely could buy the stock at this level, but I think I would like to see a little bit more a little bit more conviction. So I'm going to look at the at the at the 5 minute chart, and this is the 5 minute chart for Apple. So I'm going to kind of look to see how. Now there's a lot of buying right at the end of the day. That's very bullish. You're right. So could we buy it at this level? Well, maybe, but I think we really want to be buying this as it moves above this higher high, which is about 147.50. So here's the thing. Here's what I would say on Apple. Basically, is that I think that at you know at 140, I think at 147.50 is probably where we ought to start moving into Apple. But I definitely think you're right. I think there's a lot of interest at the 150 level, but I think you could actually start building a position at about the 147.50 level. So, very, very good question. And I love Apple. I'm poised to get right back in it as soon as it starts to see some power. Let's look at Palantir. This it's been sort of a disappointment on the stock. I don't believe in buying stocks, as you know, if you've been listening to me in times. I don't believe them when they're in a downward trend. And unfortunately, Palantir is currently in a downward trend, as you can see. I have a trend line on it. So I wouldn't probably have made this buy. Now, I can be very wrong on my buys, absolutely. I mean, I'm not, I have no monopoly on how things are going to work. But my guess is that you might have made your buy a little bit early. So I probably would have not been this aggressive on the buying, but you could do. This looks like it might be turning, and I would basically look at buying it above about 23.75. That's where I would be buying it as it moves above this reversal line. And that the reason I say that is because it is still in a downward trend, but it looks like it's moving possibly higher. It's gonna encounter some resistance right about there, and if it could punch through, then I think you're okay. So I know I wouldn't necessarily be selling the shares, but I'd be very, very careful. I'd put a stop loss in very, very tight here at about 21.50. I would not let this thing move down below about 21.50. That's where I would put my stop loss. I really think that's important that you protect yourself because we have not come above the reversal line. I'd be very cautious. So if I had a buy at this point, what I would do is I'd put my stop loss in at about 21.50, and hopefully, I'm just a little bit careful just because it is below it is below that buy point. So I would put a stop loss at a 21.50 Palantir. That's kind of where I would that's kind of where I would go with Palantir. Is I would put that stop loss in about 21.50. That's kind of where I'd be looking to put it in, because we're still not above that reversal trend line. So that's typically how I like to buy it, as it moves above that trend line. Okay, great. Oh, that's Palantir. We did the same question. NEO. I know a lot of people love NEO. I know they love Sear, but I really think you have to be careful right now with Chinese stocks overall, because there are some political issues regarding these stocks. So I think you just have to be super duper careful. Currently, NEO is not a buy, and I don't think it, at least for right now. And I want to show you the trend line on it. Even if you were buying it strictly on the trend line, I think that you're still probably not. It's probably not a buy yet. What I've done is I've drawn the trend line. Currently, NEO is in a it's currently in a downward trend, as you can see. This is the trend line, and it's below that. So I would be very careful, even though relative strength is improving and some things are looking pretty good. But I just think you have to be super duper careful when it comes to to Neo. I just don't. I know that I know I'm not winning any friends by saying that, but I think that with Neo, Neo is currently oops, is currently in a downtrend. So that's kind of where I think you got to be a little bit careful with Neo. Now, if I did buy into Neo, now I'm not recommending buying into Neo right now. I want to see before I would buy Neo, I want to see it move above that trend line. So right now, that is really we need to be above about 47.50 in order to see a reversal. And that would be the absolute earliest that you could buy it. More like it should be more like 50. But currently, Neo is in a downtrend, so I don't think we want to buy Neo. I don't like to buy stocks as they are in downtrends, just because that lessens the chance. Because things that are moving in one direction continue to move in that direction. So you got to be super careful. So I'd be very careful with that. Jim, what are your thoughts on Live Nation LYV? LVY. Well, as you know, the concert business basically is a business for baby boomers. I don't think it's interesting. I mean, I think my sister has been to more concerts than any other person alive. She's been going since the 1970s. But she's a baby boomer, and the problem with Live Nation is I don't think it really has as big a millennial audience as it did with as a baby boomer generation. So I think this is sort of a declining industry. I know that sounds very strange, but I think this is sort of a declining industry as speak. Currently, we do have this cup with handle formation. There was a buy point at 93.07. Currently, it's 83. The relative strength is moving up, which is good. But overall, I just think this is very, very weak. I think this is a very, very weak area of the market. This is leisure services. This sector is 180 out of 197, which unfortunately is in the bottom 20%. I don't like to buy stocks that are in the bottom 20%. Here I am just bad mouthing. I shouldn't be bad mouthing stuff, but I don't think Live Nation is a very good buy, and I don't think I think it was a great company that's time really has passed. It's got a 78 checklist, which is quite good, but it's in a downward trend. So my advice on Live Nation, I wouldn't buy it. I don't think millennials are going to go to concerts as much as my generation did, unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know. The live music business is really the money is made in the big arena shows, and they just can't fill the arenas anymore. So I think Live Nation is basically yesterday's news, and it's sort of like the networks that come on every night, with the nightly news. I mean, fewer and fewer people are watching them, and I think that's the same thing with Live Nation. I think it's a buggy whip company. Unfortunately, I mean, I'm kind of being scathing, but I just don't think it's the future. I think that social media is the future, but I don't think that Live Nation is the future. So sorry about that. All right. Okay, you bought in at Palantir at 24. Interesting. Okay, so let's go back to Palantir. I just want to kind of analyze that. PLTR. So I just want to kind of look to see where I would consider putting in a stop loss for Mark. He bought in, okay, basically, so I'm going to kind of look at the price. You see, you're at 24. Okay, so, yeah, okay. So, yeah, no, you did buy correctly. You bought right above the trend line. Okay, so you did buy right above the trend line, and it's been pulling back. Here's the thing. I think you need to set a stop loss. I think it's best if you were to set a stop loss at a relatively a relatively tight stop loss on this. So let's kind of take a look to see kind of what stop loss that I would recommend on that. So let me just do the calculation here, and basically, the way you want to always do a stop loss is to look at what your price is. Currently, you said you were bought in at 24. So what I would do is I would put in a very tight stop loss, maybe a 4 or 5% stop loss. So I would be I would probably put in a stop loss at about 23. Now currently it's at 22. So I would really consider selling this because you're not quite down 6 or 7%, but 24 uh, uh, times 0.93 will give you a 7. Yeah. Okay, let's do that. So 24 times 0.93, that'll give us a 7% loss, is 22.32. So really, that's the maximum. That's the maximum stop loss. That's the lowest stop loss that I think you could put in there would be 22.32, which would be about, let's look at it. 22.32 is going to be right at this mark here. So basically, we're looking at almost, see, that's, I would not take a loss below that line, because even though it is trending up, I still think it could trend the other way very, very easily, because we're in a downtrend and it's right above that. So I would consider possibly putting in that stop loss at very, very tight, very, very tight stop loss there, so that you could at 22.32. So that's kind of where I'm looking to place a stop loss in there. So I think you got to be careful, but that I would want to protect myself. I would want to protect myself on that one. All right, Fortinet. This is a terrific company, by the way. FTNT. Let's take a look at it. And there we go. Wow, look at this chart. This is a beautiful chart. I haven't been in this. I was in this before. Unfortunately, the problem with this chart is that, and always there's a problem. Nothing is perfect, obviously, but the buy point was way back here on a cup base at 151.95. Currently, it's trading at 300. So it's doubled since the proper buy point. This is why proper buy points are so great on great stocks. Because if you get in the proper buy point, you just ride it up. Yeah, ride it like an escalator. Really great. Now, is there a way to buy this at this point? Well, I think it would be a little bit tough to buy this because we're so far above the 10-day line. But let's kind of just see how far above that 10-day line that we closed. We closed right about there at about 300. So we are about 6% above the 10-day line. You really don't want to wait. You really don't want to buy that high. Let it pull back down. Let it pull back down. Let's get it closer to the 10-day line. That's this pink line here. Let's get it closer to that. I would say, if it pulls back a little bit and bounces on the 10-day line, that's where you might want to possibly buy it. That would be a secondary buy point. Not as good as the base, but not bad. If it pulls back to about 280 and then bounces at that line, that's where you might want to consider buying it. But right now, I just think you're a little too far extended, even though this is a beautiful, beautiful pattern. We had excellent earnings. As you can see, we just had great earnings on that. The sales were up 30%, but the profits were up 14%. So very, very nice. If you look, there's consistently increasing sales here. That's always good. We always want to see sales go up at least 20% each quarter. 23% each quarter, we have a really good company. And definitely that's the case here. Because if the sales go up, typically the profits follow. So very, very good company. I couldn't buy it right now just because it's too far extended above the 10-day line, but I would definitely look to buy it if it pulls back to about 280 and then it moves higher. So that's how I would do it. But very, very, very nice chart. What's happening to Bitcoin? Well, let's check in with Bitcoin. Everybody loves Bitcoin, right? So what I'm going to do here is let's kind of get an idea of where Bitcoin is going, and see if see if we can kind of figure something out. So BTC. So let's look at Bitcoin here. So right now, Bitcoin is moved up once again. So that is a good that is a good thing. This is a question from TikTok. So fortunately, I can't put that up on the screen just because of the way this works technically. But we did. It seems like it's getting some support. So now, if it can move above about this $40,000 mark, then I think it might be it might be back into kind of an area where we could possibly look at it. Now, here's how I analyze Bitcoin. I use the GBTC, the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. And what this is a this is an ETF that controls about 4% of the world's Bitcoin. And basically, we have seen it reverse. This is the reversal line here. I want to kind of point out to you here. So let's see if we can, see this line here, this black line here. Yeah, this black line here. See this line? That is the reversal line. And it appears that back just 1, 2, 3, 4, best of the last week, Bitcoin did reverse higher. So if it looks like it's getting strength, so if it can pull above that $40,000 mark, then I think that we have, we might be able to jump back into Bitcoin. I think it's a little bit unsafe to buy it below 40 just because I want to see it move above there. There seems to be some resistance right at about 40,000. So that's kind of my take on Bitcoin. And I think right now it is ascending, but there is some resistance at 40,000. So probably best to wait a little bit until it moves above about 40,000, and then I think you can probably have something pretty good there. So all right, let's look at AFG. Look at that real quick. AFG. This is American Financial Group. I'm not that familiar with this disease, unfortunately, but it's a nice chart. You're always, the first thing you do always when you look at a chart is you go to the weekly chart and you look to see what is the direction of this thing. Well, this is a pretty good direction. It's going up. It's going basically from Los Angeles to Boston. So that's looking really good. So the chart is looking really good, and get this, it's right at a buy zone. So that's another good thing. As you can see, and it's only available. It's only show. You can only see this on the weekly chart. But let's zoom in on the weekly chart to see if I can, kind of move it in there a little bit. There we go. Okay, so we kind of had to resize this a little bit. So hopefully, we'll get. It takes a second for the software to resize everything, but let's kind of look at it now. Yeah, there we go. All right, so we're currently right in a buy zone. So it's on a flat base, which is very, very good. At 127 is the pivot on it. So this is totally buyable. You could buy this right now. This is a buyable. It's in the it's in the buy zone. It's basically moving very, very nicely. Now, let's kind of look to see. It's got a very nice checklist, 89%. The only thing is lacking here is sales. So everything else is looking very, very good in this with AFG. I mean, I think that's an excellent call, Aziz, because I think that definitely. Oops. Oh, no, that was my. I was on the wrong thing. So let's see if we can get that. Okay. There we go. I was on the wrong window. All right. So let's see if I can move this. Yeah. All right. So now I think I have it back. There we go. I'm back to the normal presentation there. So very, very good. So right now it is in a buy zone, and so you can definitely buy this right now. It's got a very insurance and property and casualty actually is looking very good. It's the 65th out of 197 group. So we're definitely in the top half of all the sectors in the economy. So that's looking very, very good. The stock, this area is actually doing quite well. Even though the sales were only up 6%, the profits were up 254%. I don't quite know the reason for that. I would have to do a little bit of digging there, but this is looking very, very good. It had a very strong earnings, as you can see. So and it's right in the buy zone. So this is definitely something. This is a good place to buy it. 49% funds. That's very strong. It's very strong cash flow at $10. The return on equity about 10%. That's very, very good. So this is looking very, very good. If you want to be in Aflac, I guess this is Aflac? No, American Financial Group. I'm sorry, it's not Aflac. This would be a really good one. So let's kind of look. I'm just curious and see what's going on in the property and casualty group. It's number 65. So let me pull back and see if I can. I can see kind of this one. It's number 65. So I want to look at kind of its peers here to see how it's doing. So basically, this is the property and casualty group. This is overall for the entire group. A little bit of a downward trend here, but this one looks good. I kind of want to look at the top stocks in there. Yeah, absolutely. It's right at the top, and it is bucking the trend. So this is good. This is very, very good. And in terms of all the companies, it's right at the top with a relative strength of 94. So I think you have a really good one here, Aziz. I would definitely, this is a good time to buy it. I mean, I think this is a very good time to buy it. I think you've really nailed it. So this one definitely could go into on that. So fantastic. Thank you for that question. Thanks, France. Let's look at Micron. This is, of course, Micron Technology, and they are one of the largest companies in the semiconductor memory space, of course. The other two being Samsung Industries and Hynix, which is also a South Korean company. Micron is basically in this consolidation range, and I'm going to show you that in just a second. Let me see if we can zoom in on that a little bit. Oops. Put it over there. There we go. So hopefully now move in. This will take a second to readjust. And we're readjusting right now. So we can get a better look at this. So here we go. We as you can see, we kind of made this little bounce here at the bottom of the consolidation range, and the buy point on this is 96.96. Currently we are we're at 81. We're at 81.35. So we have bounced higher. Now, typically the way a lot of times these consolidations work is that they'll pull back down, they'll hit the bottom of the consolidation, and they'll turn back up. It is definitely above the 200-day line. That's right here. So that is a good thing. The question is, would I buy it at this level? Well, I might consider buying it, but I'm not sure that I would actually buy it at this level. I really want it to move above 96. I really do. I think really to get more bullish on Micron, I think we have to be we have to be very much concerned with this, because Micron is I've had Micron many times and I've done well with it, but I've also had issues with it. And right now Micron is not as, let's see if I can get that. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pull it back to 100%. So it's taking a second for it to resize. There we go. Resizing that window right now. All right. So now we're back to the normal view. So what we have going on here is even though we have this consolidation range, we still need it to move higher. So here's my thought on that. I mean, it just came through earnings, and their sales were up 36%, profits were up 129%. I want to take a wait-see attitude on Micron. I think that it could be moving better, but I really don't really want to buy it until it's above about 196. So that's kind of my take on it. Good stock, but I just think it's not at the right place. It's just not the right place right now. Okay, Mark, you did a debit spread on Penn National Gaming. Let's take a look at. I kind of try to see. It's an 8:30 expiration. 7. Okay, that's a pretty tight spread. Let's look at Penn National. Let's take a look at that. Excuse me. and see kind of what's going on there. Um, hmm, debit spread. Okay, well, we definitely have a declining chart there. Let's see. We definitely have a declining chart. So here's what I would do. I'm going to switch over to let's see if we can analyze that spread real quick. I'm going to go over here. By the way, if you're interested, I use a kind of a site that I really like. It's called Options Profit Calculator, and it does have it produces some very nice graphics. So that I really like. So let's look at Penn National and see. Hopefully, I don't know if I can read everything. Okay, you're at the 8/13 expiration. So let's uh, let's do that. Okay, and it's did you do you did, oh, debit spread? Okay, with calls or with puts? Probably with calls. I suspect you did it with calls. So let's look at Penn National. I'm trying to kind of see kind of where we are on that. So let's look at it, and I think you're going to be. I think uh, it's going to be a bearish strategy. So, yeah, and you said AS 71, 71.50. Okay, okay, oh, okay, 71, 71, and the date that you had on it was August 13th. There we are. 71. So 70, 71.50. Let me just do. I'm still putting it in here, so just see if we can. 71. Let's kind of look at that. Let's do a calc on that. That's a really tight. That's a really tight one. Wow. Okay. Cool. All right. So here's what I'm seeing. here's what I'm seeing, Mark. I am seeing a potential. If it falls, this is kind of what we're seeing. If it falls to 71, I think we're pretty good here. So let's see if I can sort of get this all on one screen so we can see it. All right. All right. So the way I'm looking at it here is that we're at 72 after hours. So we ticked up. So we ticked up right here to here. So we're currently. So if it can hold this or go sideways, which I hope it will, then I think you're okay. You got to close this if it goes to about 73 73.30. So here's what I would do on that, Mark. I think I think what you need to do is consider closing this spread if if Penn National moves above about 73.50. I think you got to close. I think you got to close on that at that level. But below that level, I think you're looking pretty good. So, where I would be setting. So let's get a let's get a number here for us. Let's look at the value here. Let's see where we're going to need to set that stop loss. I would be setting that stop loss right at about 103. I would be setting that there. So here's what I would do with that stop. I would probably do this. I would go for the closing trade at about 104. That's where I would put it at about 104. You with that you're going to make about $15. So that's where I would close it. Now, hopefully it falls. It falls. Hopefully it falls, and you don't have to close it early. But if I were gonna close it, I would be closing it at 73.20, or about a closing trade of approximately 104 per contract. That's where I would be doing it, and that kind of gives you an idea of the price. But obviously, you want to do this on a limit order. You want to do it as a limit order. So that's kind of what I would do with this spread. But it's a very interesting spread. I think you might do well. I think it might be pulling back, and if it does, you're going to be doing well. But remember, try to close it probably at 73.50 tomorrow, and or between 73.20 and 73.50. So I would set my I would set my break even here at about 104 or so. That's what I would do. So very interesting. Thanks for that. That's a interesting an interesting deal. All right. Aziz SITM had a gap jump on. Let's see why or why not that's happening. So let's look at that. SITM. And okay. Don't know why that happened. I can't tell you why that happened, but it did. Something is going on. Must have been earnings, because it looks as if the sales are up 107%, and the earnings are up 429%. So something good is happening there. Definitely, and that's on the weekly chart. Let's look at the daily chart. Yeah, absolutely. It's just going. It had terrific earnings. That's a gap up on earnings. So you might want to look to acquire that one. Here's the thing. I think it's viable above 151. 151. I'd be a little bit concerned about getting in the first 5 minutes tomorrow, but if you do get in, set your stop loss up and move it up, because this one, now, it probably will not hold this level. It'll probably pull back down, but if it moves and it bounces above 151, I think you might have a winner there. Fantastic. Well, I have grinded through a whole other hour. Thank you, everybody. I didn't get to everybody's questions. Oh, wait a minute. I did have this question. Netflix link you sent. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me resend that. Let me change that out. I am so sorry. Let me see if I can change that spread. I apologize for that. Let me get that right. And that is Bitly. So I'm sorry, I have the wrong spread there. Oh goodness gracious. And this was on that. So, oh goodness. This is the Netflix calendar spread. So let me just. I guess I get the wrong one there. I am so sorry about that. Let's see if we can put that. Let's see if we can put that in there. All right. Okay. Here's what I'll do. Here's what I'll do on that one. So I had the wrong. Yeah, I had the wrong one. So let me change that on the website. I am sorry I made that mistake. Sometimes I don't get it wrong. All right, let me change that out right as we speak. And what I'm doing is I'm changing the link right now, everybody, and that kind of gives that'll definitely change it. Okay. Yeah. No. 1 second. Should be able to edit this. Take this offline. Mm-hmm. All right, so I got rid of that link. Let me put the new link in, and do that in just a second here. Go. Okay, everybody. Thanks for holding on. Thanks for holding on. I have I now I have the correct link, so I'll just kind of show you sort of sort of what's going on there. So to get to the link for the to get to the link for the calendar spread, just go to either go to the link on TikTok or go to www Dallas Trading Floor. I'll just show you that. That one should work now. So I'm going to go ahead and share that out so you can kind of see what I'm talking about here on the screen. There. Oops. There we go. Okay. So basically, this is how it will look here on the on the website Dallas Trading Floor, and I've changed out the I've changed out the spread, and basically, so now when you go to it, and hopefully this will work. Hit this one here. It should go right into, there it is, the Cole spread on Netflix. So, sorry about that. Well, sometimes I get those links wrong. I get those links right. This gives you the setup. This gives you the entire the look of it. This is kind of the heat map. Also, of course, we have the link here when you're going to close it to the actual calculation, and that's right here. So I just wanted to kind of show you that. That's the actual calculation where you can kind of look at it and see, when you're closing it, if you want to say, let's say I want to close it there, you click on that, oops, and that's going to give you the closing entries up here. So that's sort of how it works. And thank you for bringing that to my attention. Thank you very, very much for bringing that to my attention. So I guess that's probably, let's see if there are any other comments. We're really running a little bit over today, unfortunately. I could go on this for hours, but thank you. Okay, this is a question on PIN. Okay, and you're up 30%. Well, nice, nice. Okay, so Netflix is well. I think this is a pretty good trade. I'm in it. I'm up on it. So hopefully hopefully it'll be a good trade. But until that time, if you're on the action trailer list, I'm going to probably try to send this out on the action trailer alerts too. Of course, that's something. No, hopefully I'll get that out tonight, and that's super easy. That's super easy to get on. If you want to sign up, of course, for the action trailers, just go to www Dallas Trading Floor and just you will see this. So let's see, show it right here. You will oops, there we go. So let's click on over. Yeah. So this is what, oops, there we go. So this is what DallasTradingFloor.com looks like. And for the free action trailer, it's just need the first name, possibly an SMS. Sometimes we do the alert, and then the email address, and then hit that subscribe button, and you'll be good to go. Well, until tomorrow, thanks so much for dropping by and taking a look at my little show. And hopefully tell your friends. We do have a Discord room, which is fantastic because we go over individual trades, and we have a lot of good people in there, and that are making money. By the way, if you want to get directly to that, that's easy. Just go to the special Discord service, click on that, and a little screen like this will appear, kind of like that. That's how you subscribe to it. So until tomorrow at about 2:30, 2:40 or so, thanks for watching, everybody, and I will see you. Happy trading, and everybody stay safe and enjoy the summer.